Alright guys, we're back here in the loft today and just giving an update. I've been gone for a while, but I had COVID and I had a lot of things to do, so for 3 to 4 weeks it's been kind of crazy. But now we're back in the loft making videos, and as you can see by that red check, that beautiful red check right there, that blue bar splash, that dark check white flight, and that blue bar right there, we have new birds in the loft. I want to show off those guys in the next couple videos, but today's mainly just for my breeders. I have a couple breeders over here on eggs I wanted to show off. We'll start off by going to the top first. Up here we have, alright guys, calm down. We have 925 McLaughlin on 2 eggs. This 925 McLaughlin was on my 2020 team, and the good thing about this bird is he raced when I only had about 10 birds going to our race season. And when you're racing off the race course, I was the furthest right by maybe 17 miles, so my birds had to break really early. And this guy always came home consistent and won me diplomas, so I'm happy with this guy. So far, he's bred decent babies. I haven't got winners from him, but he's only a 2020 bird, so he has only bred 1 year. I'm going to give him 1 more year, see how he does with 3 rounds, and if I don't really get anything, I'll switch up the hen, and after that, he's going to go out of the loft, because he's just not producing, but I have good hopes for this bird because of the loft he came from. I trust Frank a lot. He has super pigeons. His hen is right there. That splash checker, that's a second average speed hen. Her full sibling, her sister in 2017, won second average speed in the Southern Belle, as well as her siblings and her kids off this, her siblings and off her family have done exceptionally well in club racing and OLR. Everything that's off second average is gold down here in Georgia. They're always winning. They're placing in top results every single week. So I'm happy to have those siblings in my loft. Here we have another pair, and this guy did very well in the Southern Belle as well. He did well in the Southern Belle in 2020. He was consistent every week. He had supernatural health. He was very healthy by the time coming out. I did worm him, and he had worms. But that just shows me this bird maintained weight and came home every week, even when he was infested with worms. And a lot of these OLRs aren't like us. We don't medicate and deworm. They don't really care. All they do is throw him in the trailer and let him go. And first bird home wins the money. But he did his portion, and I know the original breeder of this bird, and he told me, why not breed him? I agreed with him. He said he was out of some good birds, and if he doesn't do anything, doesn't breed anything, just sell him. Get rid of him, bring him to the flea market. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. This bird is by far my most aggressive cockbird on the nest. He hates me going next to his eggs. He right now has 2 eggs with this hen, 2030. If you recognize her, she was bred by Darius, and she won me money this year. So I like this bird a lot. She won me diplomas, and she placed in the money for our big money race that's in our club. I think I forgot to mention this, but while I was away for the couple weeks, I started building these breeders boxes in my loft because I really got tired of changing 12 frozen waters a day in the winter with my individual breeding pins. So I just built these. I built them pretty big so the birds are plenty comfortable in here, and I can put a second bowl in when it's time. So babies and eggs aren't crowded in the bowl. I really like them so far. I wish the loft was a little bigger, but everything's working out fine. And you can see everything has pine straw in there. All the hens are about to lay. They're about to lay because it's been, I believe, 6 days since I put the cocks and the hens together. And you see, I had a couple hens in here before, and they're on eggs with their cockbirds. But yeah, I'm excited for this year, and I'm gonna show you a couple more pairs. Hey guys, come down. Down here we have a cock and a hen. These two orange bands are a pair, and I got them from a buddy named Dennis from my club. He's a super racer. He's in the top of the results every week, and his birds do well in OLR and club races. So it's hard to get to that point, and he did it. I really like this pair because his full brother won, I believe, 20 grand in the 350 mile in the Peach Classic, which is awesome. I grabbed him right before he placed in the money. So Dennis is kind of upset about it, but I told him it's all good. I'll give him all the babies he needs, and if he really needs that bird back, he can have him back. That hen is also a great bird. These two birds raced in OLR this year, and she placed in the money for the 200-mile race and won $1,000. So I'm happy to got this pair for free this year. He was nice enough. I went over there to pick him up. I had some cash, but he decided just to give me the birds. You recognize this guy. He is one of my race birds. His fan number is 55105. He raced on my 2020 team with 925 McLaughlin. That checker that was in the top box, that was paired to a second average hen. This guy is awesome. He was my only money bird entered into the race, and I believe 150 bands were caught for that money race, and only about 35 made it. That year hawks were absolutely terrible, and a lot of birds didn't make it. Sadly, he didn't place in the money, but he did place in the regular races. He ended up winning at the 100 and 150, both third places. I'm happy with this guy. Okay. He's on eggs with his hen. He's always a consistent breeder. His young always do super well for me. They're always consistent past that 200 because he is a middle distance bird, which surprised me that he did so well in the 100 and 150. But I'm not complaining. Top 10% is still top 10%. There's another pair that I really like this year. This is a McLaughlin cockbird and an Adrian P hen that he recently sent me. This is one of the new birds. This cockbird is out of McLaughlin birds. He's out of Frank's loft directly. He bred this bird and sent it to me. Frank usually sends me a couple birds every year to test out and breed, because he likes how I do things down here, and he really respects the young guys in the sport, how they're pushing through, even with the cost of the season and just the cost of racing in general. He really respects the guys who stick it out and just don't give up after that first season. And Frank is a really good guy in the sport. He has super pigeons. You can tell by his race results and his one loft results. It's hard to get birds to perform on both levels, and he does that every year. So I'm super happy about that. Frank's not one of those guys in the sport who's in it for the money. Frank's always been in the sport for the sport and to help people out. You can tell by, let's bring Gannis, for example. Gannis sells his birds for a crazy amount, and every pedigree has giant Sharpie swoops, and I hate it so much. The way he just advertises these birds all the time. Sure, he has good birds. You can't deny he has good birds by his results. But when you have that much money, you better have good birds. You better not be selling absolute garbage. And sometimes these birds that come out of Gannis Loft are exactly that. They're garbage. Now, you can't always stop that. Some birds just won't be good from a good pair. But for the amount you're paying, I hope at least 85% of those babies are winners, if not very decent birds. And from what I've seen, they haven't been. That's just my personal experience with the guys that I've known who've had Gannis family loft birds. Off that topic, I can rant about that for hours. A couple of guys know how much I talk about that when I get mad about it. But this hen is from Adrian. Adrian sent me this hen because sadly he didn't have room for the birds. Overcrowding, he's afraid to overcrowd, and that's really respectable. So I knew if Adrian's getting rid of hens, getting rid of birds in general, I was gonna get some birds, because Adrian only keeps his best around birds that have either won or have bred winners. He doesn't keep garbage around. So super excited I got this hen. She is a bit older. She's a 2016 hen, but I see no problems with her breeding another 4 years with fertile eggs, and that's plenty of time. I can get kids out of her, and if, let's say, in 4 or 5 years she's not fertile anymore, I have plenty of blood off this bird. And I'll probably switch up the cockbird if this pair doesn't end up being how I like. But I do believe these guys equal out each other pretty good. That blue bar right there is AU18 Purple 531. His nickname is Blue Phantom. He did super well as a young bird. He was 8th place Purple Heart money winner at 300 miles. Overall, he was 10th Hall of Fame young bird, all Minnesota, and he was an ace pigeon in Minnesota as well. He placed 8 out of 336 birds at 300 miles against 41 lofts. He placed 7th against 148 birds at 300 miles versus 10 lofts, and he placed 21st against 308 birds at 200 miles. He placed 82nd against 633 birds against 200 miles. Sorry. He placed 115th against 724 birds at 100 miles. So as you can see by the results, as I just said, he really starts hitting past that 250. And I didn't get him to be a sprint bird, so I have no problems with that. I'm actually kind of happy that he hits so well at the 300, because a lot of the races I'm sending to, that big money race, that big jackpot, is at the 300-mile race. So I'm not too worried about him doing not so great over the rest of the season, but he was definitely consistent. He was 8th Minnesota champion bird, as well as an ace pigeon. He was Hall of Fame. I don't have a problem with that. It's awesome. Darius sent me these two. I really appreciate it. And Darius knows that he can get these birds back at any time. I'll be breeding them until he wants them back. And I'm just happy to have got these guys. Next video I'm going to make is going to be of Darius and Adrian's birds, as well as the update, because pretty sure in here in a couple days there will be a lot of eggs in these bowls. Everything will be filled up. But yeah, guys, that's all that I have for today. There will be a new video soon. Here we have 2 cockbirds, and luckily the loft just quieted down. The cockbirds fought enough. They're going crazy. I put the hens in about 6 days ago, so they're still driving the hens, and me being here is getting them mad. They want to defend their boxes. These 2 birds are from Darius. I wanted to make a quick little clip in the video showing off Darius's birds. I can't put everything into one video of Adrian and Darius's pigeons. I got about, I believe, 8 birds in from both of them. So I want to make another video separately to show off those birds, and that'll be coming soon. I don't want to undermine any of their birds. This checker white flight right here got 10th place at the 100-mile race, and then after that, his owner pulled him because his brothers and sisters from this family and the same parents did so super, and he just had a feeling about this bird, and he didn't want it to get lost. And to me, I wouldn't always do that, but he knows his birds better than I do, and right now I have this bird, so I'm going to be testing him out, and maybe that was a great decision. This pair, his father has produced many winners, as well as his mother. And this pair has been together since 2009. So it's a fairly old pair. And I believe this is one of the last babies that have ever produced. The mother has bred first at 500 miles, first at 200 miles, first at 170 miles, first at 150, first at 300, first at 200, first at 200 again, first at 200, first at 200, and that just continues. And that's from the babies past 2009. So it's been years, and they've been breeding together for that long, but they have produced those winners that I'm looking for, and I'm hoping this guy can produce more winners. On to this cockbird, this blue bar white flight.